Welcome back to the Automation Podcast, the world's #1 industrial automation product and technology show, thanks to you, our audience of highly skilled automation professionals. Thank you for being a member of our audience, and thank you for tuning back in this week. Now, for those new to the show, my name is Shawn of Insights in Automation, and each week I invite a new vendor on the show to tell us about their products and technologies. And during the presentation, I play the role of the audience, asking questions I think you guys out there may have. Now, given that a quarter of our audience listens to the show, doesn't watch it, but listens to it, if I see any visuals I think you guys will be interested in, I'll try to call them out. With that said, it's my pleasure to welcome Brandon to the podcast. Brandon, before you jump in and your presentation and tell us all about IXON, could you please first introduce yourself to our audience?
Absolutely, Shawn. I appreciate you having me on today. So my name's Brandon Penrod. I'm the Director of Sales for North America here with IXON. IXON is an industrial IoT and remote access solution for machine builders and systems integrators. IXON's headquartered over in the Netherlands, and I recently joined IXON about a year ago to help kind of build out our sales and support motion over here in the U.S. That's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Now tell us about IXON because I know it's big in Europe, but I haven't heard of it before here, being in the US.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually just had our 10-year anniversary last fall. So IXON is headquartered in the Netherlands. We have about 90 employees, over 50 different countries with customers, 8 different countries with a local presence, including the U.S. here, and 40 different distributors around the world as well. IXON, like I said, we've been around for 10 years. We're not a, new company by any means. We actually have 70,000 of our industrial edge gateway devices out in the wild, per se. Over 60,000 users on our platform. It's a very proven technology, I guess you could say.
Now, as we look at this map for the audio audience, I mean, you can definitely see them in Europe. They're just all over the place. But surprisingly, they are all over the United States as well. And that's pretty impressive. So you already have all of those customers over here in the North America.
Yes, absolutely. So we've been selling into the U.S. prior to myself joining and kind of working to build out the direct sales motion over here. We had previously been working through some white label partners that we still work through, but now we've got a bit of a focus on really targeting the OEM and machine building market directly as well. So just to kind of highlight, move on to our next slide here. We've got over 2,500 different machine builders that are using our product worldwide right now. Some of these companies include Sonovo, GEA, Vecoplan, Finis Food Processing, Hotreco, across all different industries from food and beverage processing, farming, egg processing, really any type of machine that has a PLC, HMI, things like that. We can connect our device to and provide remote access and IoT solutions for. All right, so Shawn, I mean, one of the things I want to talk about today is what are your customers buying when they buy a machine from you or from the audience? And I've got a picture here on the screen of a hammer and then a guy hanging a photo on the wall. When you go to the hardware store and you buy a hammer, you're not really buying a hammer. You're buying the result of what you want that hammer to do. In this instance, hanging a picture on a wall. Putting that nail in the wall and being able to see the finished product of that picture on the wall. When it comes to machine building, machine builders, they're not building or they're not selling a machine. They're selling a solution to a problem or a process. And so, a lot of machine builders nowadays, they're kind of in this like product manufacturer mindset where they offer, pretty reactive service models where, you might have a phone support line offering field service visits or preventative maintenance plans. but it's a very reactive kind of, you build the machine, you sell it, and you kind of forget about it until there's an issue, right? So our goal at IXON is to help companies take a more proactive approach to aftermarket service, support, and really just the overall aftermarket experience for their customers by leveraging a connection to those machines for things like remote support and remote connectivity. And then also through that connection, allowing them to collect data from their PLCs and leveraging that data for some more proactive services like condition monitoring, utilization and energy consumption, automated reporting, inventory management, production metrics that can be shared with their customers to really just improve overall efficiency and as much as possible eliminate those costly unplanned downtime events. And then a little further down the road in the future, we've started to see a little bit of a shift into what we call like machine as a service. So rather than the end users purchasing a machine with capital equipment or capital capex, there's a transition to using OpEx funds to purchase the output rather than the machine. And so this is kind of a servitization model, and it creates a recurring revenue stream for the machine builders. And there's a few different ways, pay per use or pay for output. But I know this is a little far off for a lot of machine builders that are especially still kind of in this product manufacturer mindset. But to get to that level, you've really got to have a connection to your machines. So at IXON, we're trying to equip and our customers with the technology to in the future become a service provider, because we feel that the machine builder of the future is going to be a service provider.
So I'm looking at this slide and I'm seeing reactive services, right?
Mhm.
And where would I want remote connectivity to a machine like that if I was an OEM, right? And I'm thinking, an OEM machine builder type. And I'm thinking, well, first of all, if the first machine I'm selling to what could be my biggest customer,
Mhm.
I may want to have 24 connection. I may want to predict if something's going to go wrong because, they're new to my machine, but they're also a big opportunity. So I may want to have that extra, for a very small price, keep an eye on my machine, my machine 24/7 to make sure everything goes smooth. But it also may be a type of machine that requires a lot of training, and that, I want to make sure that if they break it, I'm not covering it under warranty as well. And those are just some of the use cases I can think there. And then when we go to proactive, um, some people want that. They want the service contract. They want to make sure it's a big investment. Sometimes these machines are very, very expensive. And so they don't want to risk. And maybe they're getting into a new area or a new technology, a new product, and they want that extra, they want to feel that level of certainty that they have somebody who's an expert on the machine monitoring it to make sure that they're not doing anything wrong, but also to make sure that they're using it correctly. Then again, the yields they want to get out of it. And then, of course, you go into the machine as a service. How many times have, the end users, they get this big unexpected order and they're not going to need the machines forever. They just need to get through this 1 year or 2 year contract. And I've always seen that as where machine as a service can be huge, because if that's happening in one industry or with one customer, it's probably happening with others over time. And so, in a lot of times, you can sell those machines after the fact when the contract's over. You can sell it to one of your other good customers at a reduced price because it is a refurbished or reconditioned machine. So, those are just some of the ideas coming out of my head here as I look at these three silos of reactive, proactive, and machine as a service. So, and let me turn it back to you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, great point, Sean. And one industry that kind of stands out as as a kind of a leader or an innovator in the as a service industry right now that I'm seeing more and more of is the robotics as a service industry.
Yeah.
You see more and more of these, companies like I think Formic is one that, they're offering the robot as a replacement for an operator, and you pay for the hours of operation of that robot, not the robot itself. And you make a great point about the use case of, hey, we've got a big project that comes through right now. we might not need the machine forever, but to get through this level of, where where we need some extra manpower, we can leverage that. So
Yeah, and if it's that first application of machine tending with a cobot, let's say, then yeah, why not? Why not use it? Get it as a service to start, and then you can make the decision after you figure out what the yields are, how fast it moves, how well it does compared to the old operator who may be retired, or called in rich, winning the lottery, right? Hopefully, you know, then you can say, well, do we want to own or do we want to buy? But when it's your first one, when it's the first one, it's kind of a big step to go right into ownership when you don't have any cool bots, you don't have any robots doing machine tending. So I'm with you there.
yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, all of those things kind of lead to the end result that the machine builder, whether it's going to be machine as a service or just providing additional kind of data or connectivity enabled services, providing services is going to be a bigger portion of your revenue. And to kind of show what this looks like on a graph format, a lot of on the left hand side here, I've got reactive services, and this is where a lot of OEM companies are at right now. They've kind of got this like build, sell, and forget mindset. You sell the machine and you provide a phone support. You sell preventative maintenance plan visits. You've got field support techs that will fly out when a problem arises. And those trips on site are costly, whether it's for your customer after the warranty period, or if during the warranty period you're having to send your techs out. It's very costly. So one way to initially just mitigate the costs of providing support, whether it's for you during the warranty period or for your customers after, is to start connecting more and more of your machines and leveraging a remote access solution like IXON's IX router. And as you start connecting more and more of these machines, IXON is unique in the fact that we are the only remote access solution that has an integrated IoT portal, and that allows you to start creating and validating new service offerings based on PLC tag data and data from your machines. And so you can start to learn what types of digital services your customers are interested in and are willing to pay for through a data enabled service level agreement. And then as you've kind of validated these service offerings, you can really start to maximize the maturity level as a value added manufacturer and grow your service revenue at an accelerated pace by scaling what you've learned that works in your industry. So the instigator of getting to those digitally enabled services is a physical connection with your customers' machines. And for IXON, this is our edge gateway. It's really going to be the foundation for your service strategy moving forward. And it shouldn't be an operational decision. It should be a more of a strategic decision to standardize on including a connectivity device on all of your machines moving forward. So, just to touch on a couple machine connectivity use cases, Shawn, you mentioned a couple great ones there at the beginning, but remote access is really kind of the first use case. It can help you as a machine builder reduce travel expenses, get quicker resolution of problems at your customers, and also give you more efficient use of technical support staff and resources. I mean, I know nowadays that the labor market is tough, and it's tough to find really good technical support staff. And if you can equip your machines with a tool that would allow you to more efficiently use those technical support resources and be less reactive and sending someone out on a plane at the drop of a hat, and be able to plan for those events a little better, it can be a huge cost saver from that perspective. The next, kind of use case is again that proactive service. Machine data allows for condition monitoring of wear and tear components, reducing unplanned downtime, and improving machine utilization and efficiency for your customers. Another one that's kind of an often overlooked use case is having that connection to your machines and being able to collect data from your machines allows you to learn how your machines are actually being used in the field. And this can help you help your customers optimize their operations, but it can also help you guys to optimize future machine designs with a good balance between technical performance and financial cost. Sometimes we hear that machine builders they've over-engineered their machines so that they don't have downtime events and they don't have to replace things, but that raises the cost of the machine overall, right? And if they can learn where their product is over-engineered and where it is under-engineered, you can really kind of get a good balance there, and it really can tell you a lot about how your machines are running and being utilized in the field. And then the last use case I've got here on my slide is using data to enable service level agreements with digital services, and you can extend these premium services after the warranty period of a machine in the form of a data enabled service lifecycle agreement. So to touch a little bit on the hardware itself, the IX Router 3 is our connectivity device. It's an edge gateway. It has 3 connectivity options. We have Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and cellular models. Very easy to configure. You can register the device on the IXON cloud in under 3 minutes using IXON's configuration wizard. Basically, it creates a USB configuration file. You plug the USB right into the port on the top of the router, and it will configure that device, and the device will show up in your IXON cloud portal. There is an over-the-air updatable firmware. This allows you to always stay up to date with the latest features, improvements, and security updates. The router does also have an integrated firewall, which adds additional OT/IT security and segmentation. A couple other features. There's a digital input on the router itself, which allows for local VPN control. I know that security is always one of the biggest concerns, by the end users, when we talk about the word remote access. So you can actually wire in a physical switch onto this machine, and this allows them to control that VPN access from their facility. It has four LAN ports, and the device is DIN rail mountable as well.
I like devices that have that local control. So I can have a switch that has to be turned on to enable anybody to remotely connect to this, right? So if that
Yeah.
switch, if that switch isn't on, maybe I put it in the door of the enclosure, then nobody can remotely connect to it, right? It just internally says, I'm not taking incoming connections. But let's talk about what this connects to. This isn't like a cable modem that you have at home. This only connects to the cloud, right? Your cloud, right? That's how you maintain the security. If I want to remotely access my machine, I have to connect to the IXON cloud. I have to have an account.
Yep.
And then I'll see my devices, like you were saying during the setup. It's not like somebody could just, open up like an Amazon portal and then get to your IXON device, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you have to have account on IXON portal.ixon.cloud to connect to that device. You have to have a login. There is security measures like 2-factor authentication and a very robust user management functionality in our platform. But basically, yeah, the device itself, you'd connect it on your local area network with the PLC or HMI or whatever other devices you'd like to connect locally. And then you have your WAN port where you would connect your Ethernet to the internet. The connection is all done through an outgoing port, typically port 443. So you do not have to open up any incoming ports on your network. The router itself, if the local VPN control is on, always maintains a connection to the cloud. And then when you on your laptop or any device that has internet and a screen browser, really, you then connect to the cloud, and that creates that direct VPN encrypted tunnel. If that local VPN control switch is turned off, that just closes down that connection from the device to the cloud.
So let me ask this question. So we got a 4-port switch, and then we got a WAN or a cloud port, right?
Uh-huh.
This isn't going to allow anybody from my office, so the internet comes to my plant floor, typically through the front office, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm okay with plugging this WAN port into the office network, the IT network, let's say, to get internet access. I just want to make sure that nothing else can get through that WAN port except communications from the IXON cloud. Like I don't want somebody in the front office, trying to get into my PLC network. Is there like a firewall between the 4-port switch, which I'm connecting my PLCs to and HMIs to, and that WAN port or that cloud
Yes.
port that's going up to IXON?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there is an integrated firewall for that segmentation of OT and IT on your network.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's no way to access the PLC through VPN without a login or access through the IXON Cloud environment.
Okay. All right. Great.
So we've got a couple of different plans when it comes to our platform, but when you buy an IXON router, everything under the standard plan is included with the purchase of the router itself. There's no recurring support fees, no user license fees or VPN data traffic fees, things like that. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of these main kind of standard plan features that really kind of separate us from some other solutions out there. Probably the biggest one is the unlimited number of users in machines. We do not limit the number of users that you can give access on the IXON Cloud portal. You can give it to as many internal colleagues or even your external customers. You can give them access to the IXON Cloud portal. There's an unlimited number of concurrent connections as well, so multiple people can actually connect through VPN to the same machine at the same time. We do not have any VPN data limits, so VPN traffic is managed really according to kind of a fair use policy, but there's not a set specific limit. As long as you're not streaming an IP camera, 24/7, then you should be okay.
Yep.
And then web access, basically being able to view your HMI through WebVNC or web HTTP, which would allow you to connect services like maybe say an IP camera to be able to view an IP camera securely through our platform. Fleet management lets you easily manage and configure all of your fleet of devices. It provides you with a real-time overview of the configurations for all the devices in your fleet, and it allows you to share those machine specifics with your colleagues and customers. I mentioned a second ago about the advanced user and device management. You can fully customize access rights settings and provide specific people or groups of people to specific functionality and or devices. And then lastly, we also have an IXON smartphone app, and you and your users can use the free smartphone app to easily access your machines from wherever you are, from your mobile device or tablet, really anywhere with a screen and an internet connection, like I said.
So with the standard plan, basically, I'm like, all right, let's see if these guys are any good. So I'm going to buy a couple of these IXON routers, and I'm going to just for remote access. I'm going to put them in a couple of machines out there. I'm just going to test it. I'm random times of the day. I'm going to try to connect to the HMI or PLC, or just to see what's going on. Maybe upload a log file from the HMI or something. I get all the standard plan just by buying the router.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. That gives people a way to kind of come in and test it out and see if it works. I'm sure that works, but people are very cautious these days. They've been burnt with other products in the past, so I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really what's great about IXON solution is it is a future-proof solution in that if you're not ready for initiating an IoT project and delving into digital services and collecting PLC tag data and all that, you can buy just the router and get all of the remote access functionality. No subscriptions, no service plans or anything like that. But the router is capable and is future-proof when the time comes that you're ready to to tackle that type of project. So, the first step, like we were talking earlier, the first step is really connecting with your machines and your customers. You have to have this connection to enable, that those digital strategies down the road. So I wanted to talk about a case study here that we have with one of our customers, Albert Bommer. They're a machine builder in the foam industry, and they did a case study on remote access. Should it be an optional add-on, or should it be standard and included as part of our machines and every machine that goes out? So the scenario was Albert Bommer They annually produce about 150 machines within a 12-month warranty period. On average, the machines experience one issue during the warranty phase. 55% of these issues can be effectively resolved through remote solutions. The remaining 45 require an on-site intervention. The cost for a single on-site customer visit for Albert Balmer amounted to just under $3,000. So their approach one was not offering remote access. So without utilizing a remote access solution, Albert Balmer would be required to deploy personnel for each issue, and this culminated in a substantial yearly expense of $435,000. This calculation is derived from the multiplication of 150 machines by the average issues per machine during the warranty period, multiplied by the cost of an on-site visit. So, $435,000 in service costs by not offering remote access at all. Approach 2 was offering remote access as a paid option. If remote access is presented as an optional add-on and 20% of customers choose to adopt it at a cost of $2,000, the potential savings for the company amounts to $47,850. And this is basically multiplying the percentage of customers by the proportion of remotely solvable issues at 55%, and then by that initial expense calculation of $435,000. And then approach 3 is including remote access for free on the machine. So in this approach, Albert Balmer's decision was to integrate remote access as a standard feature for all machines during the warranty span. It delivered substantial gains. With 90% of their machines equipped with remote access and the capacity to resolve 55% of these issues remotely, the company saved $215,325 per year. And this is achieved by multiplying the machine percentage. 90% of their machines have connectivity, by the issue solvability of 55% of them being able to be solved remotely, then multiply that by the original expense calculation of $435,000. So this resulted in $215,000 in yearly savings for Albert Balmer. So calculating the return on investment for them, for their remote access solution, Balmer incorporates an IXON router in 90% of their machines, incurring an investment of about $94,000. That's 135 routers at about $700 a router. The ROI, if we take the average costs of the service trips multiplied by the saved service trips minus the investment in remote access, and then we divide that by the investment in remote access, we get 128% ROI in the first year during the warranty period by including remote access for free during that warranty period. Another point I want to make here is, by including this as a standard feature of your machine, it allows you to go back to the customer at the end of that warranty period and say, hey, Mr. Customer, we were able to save you X amount of unplanned downtime by not having to send someone on site and have someone resolve that problem in a matter of minutes or hours. Would you like to continue this remote access support as a part of a service level agreement on the back end? And it's easier to sell that because it's already been validated during that warranty period.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this, and this does not include how happy the customer was that you were able to fix it without having to fly out there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's definitely just think, I know the company who's making the machines is happy not to have that expense, but the end user is like, man, they just got on, they fixed it. I didn't have to wait 2 days for them to come in and get into the plant and get maybe safety certified or whatever. No, that's huge. And then if they can sell them a small contract, then they can recoup their $700, right? And maybe
Absolutely.
the small contract comes with some of the other features you're going to talk about a little bit. Maybe they sweeten it up and say, it's not just remote access you're paying for. We're going to give you some reports on a monthly basis or a dashboard, this could definitely be. And they may not go for that. They say, hey, just give us remote access. Maybe it's $350 a year, and after a couple of years, now they're profiting from putting this thing in there. But let me turn it back to you. That's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of our customers actually will offer different tiers of like a service
Mhm.
level agreement as well. So they might have a bronze tier that's, remote access only, and then maybe they have a silver tier that's like real time data dashboards or cockpit type view or a machine
Mhm.
health cockpit. And then maybe there's a gold tier that is historical data for trending and analysis and things like that. So one topic that comes up quite frequently when I'm talking to OEM machine builders is the objection that our customers won't allow us to connect. And remote access, it often kind of carries with it a connotation of risk by the end customer. And so this really makes it crucial as a machine builder to really accurately inform your customers about the security measures in place with their vendors and internally with their companies to mitigate such risk. And it's also even more important to find a way to add value to your customers in a way that's low cost, but yet requires a connection to the machine and will drive that adoption of connectivity across your customer base. So, just touching quickly on kind of IXON's security certifications, features, and service. As part of our security features, one of the features or one of the benefits is the fact that we don't charge user license fees. One of the things that we've seen with, or heard with other remote access solutions that do charge user license fees or access to the platform is that people will start to share passwords or accounts to save on cost. And this opens up a pretty significant risk if those people who have access end up leaving a company. You start to lose track of who actually has access to your customers' machines. Two-factor authentication is also standard. We also support single sign-on support for Google and Microsoft accounts and custom single sign-on. There is a audit logbook within the platform, so you can actually see any time that anyone has connected to the device, what they connected to, how long they were connected. We touched on the digital input on the device itself, which allows for a physical switch to allow end user control over VPN access. All of the connections are made through outgoing ports. We have those over the air firmware updates that are pushed to the IX routers without having to go on site, always making sure that you have the latest security updates. We have some cloud connection diagnostics tools for troubleshooting and commissioning of the routers that makes it really easy to make sure that the network connections are set up correctly. And we've got a very extensive support documentation on our support website at support.ixon.cloud. Basically, you can go on there and type in just like you're typing into Google what you're trying to do, and you'll probably find a well-documented support article on how to resolve your issue. From the certifications and services side, IXON offers a security desk that supports you with any questions. We can also work with your team to fill in any security questionnaires from your customers, or even join in meetings with your customers to address security concerns. IXON has the most extensive certifications as a remote access supplier. We have ISO 27001, ISO 27017, ISO 27701, and IEC 62443 certifications. We have a extensive IXON Cloud security guide. It's a very transparent documentation, and it can be shared with your customers as well. And I mentioned the support.ixon.cloud support documentation. Lastly, we've got a website called status.ixon.cloud. You can log on there at any point, and that will show you the current platform status and any potential downtime occurrences on the IXON platform as a whole.
I think this is very reassuring for those, a lot of OEMs and a lot of machine builders, they just don't have the high-end IT people on board. And a lot of their customers, machine shops, and you go to these plant floors and all these machines are built, making metal and stamping out parts, and there's not a lot of IT people down there either. And so, everybody's always going to have this high-end customer. They go like, "Oh, we'll give you a VPN. You don't need anything in your machine." But in a lot of facilities, they just don't have anybody that does that. And so, just knowing that IXON is the company that does this, takes it seriously. This is their whole business model, right? That can
Absolutely.
be reassuring for those smaller OEM and machine builders that They don't have that. That's not their business model. You go to some of these plants, like maybe a Stanley Bostic plant, where they just have this massive floor full of machines, but they're making like small screws and nails and all kinds of stuff. On that floor, there's no IT guy. Nobody knows IT, right? And if this is in a rural area, they might not even have an IT guy. It might be remote IT support. So I can definitely see where this could be a good fit for some machine builders and OEMs.
I mentioned our security documentation. We do have that IXON security guide PDF that can be sent out. We have, copies of all the certifications, the ISO and the IEC certifications I mentioned that can be shared with, your customers if needed for added reassurance. And we also have kind of a custom letterhead that our customers can use to share with their customers on the partnership that they have with us and our commitment to security. So when it comes to the security side of things, we're here to support you as much as you need to reassure your customers that this is a secure solution, and security is the most important aspect of our business. I touched on also in a couple slides ago, what can you offer to your customers that is a low or no cost, but it adds value and it can help drive adoption of machine connectivity. We talked about the mobile app. The fact that we don't have any user license fees means that you can extend access to that mobile app to your customers or just the platform in general, and you can give them access to remotely view that HMI or operator panel. This can be valuable for a plant manager or a maintenance manager that maybe needs to support overtime shifts or after hour shifts. He can, if someone calls him up with a problem, he can pull up his cell phone, view that HMI panel directly from his phone, and help troubleshoot an alarm or an error code or some sort of state that the machine's in remotely. So that access right there can be really valuable. And it doesn't cost you as an OEM any extra money. It's part of buying an IXON router.
That's where being able to say, okay, these users can access these machines.
Yep.
So I can get customer one only access his machines, and customer two only access his machines, and there's no way for them to get into each other's facilities.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, good.
Another idea is, offering a quarterly remote checkup with your machines for free if a connection is allowed. So, it's pretty easy to log into the portal and VPN into their machine and just do a quick diagnostics check. And if that's what it takes to kind of, get them to allow that connection, it can be a low cost for you as an OEM. But it's going to really open up a lot of opportunity for you to grow your services and business with data as you've got that connection now. And lastly, another option is to include an IP camera as part of your machine, and you can also extend access to that IP camera through the IXON portal to your customer. So similar to the HMI operator panel access, you can have an IP camera that's observing the operation of the machine. You can extend that to your customer, and they can leverage that as well. We actually have a customer of ours that did just this. Vecoplan is a manufacturer of industrial shredding machines, and in order to help drive that machine connectivity adoption, what they did is they included a IP camera with all of their machines, and these machines are go into big factories, and they've got a great big hopper at the top where you drop stuff in and it shreds and grinds up everything. Well, if something were to get jammed up in there, they would have to have an operator climb up a ladder, peek in, and see what's going on. Well, instead, they equipped their machines with an IP camera that was looking down into that machine, and that allowed them to check out what's going on in the machine without sending someone up a ladder and risking potential OSHA violations or things like that. And that was what really helped them drive their connectivity. So, this is by no means an exhaustive list of potential ways to help drive that machine connectivity, but really just to kind of get the thought flowing of what could we offer that would help us, gain adoption of that connectivity. So, once you have that connection at your machine and you're kind of moving from that active to proactive strategy, the next step is exploring offering new digital or data enabled services. IXON is a full-fledged low-code IoT platform with lots of functionalities included by default. And so there's no need for a big upfront investment and a lengthy software development project. The platform really allows you to kind of start small and learn fast. And you don't need a dedicated software development team. A lot of our customers, they're machine builders. They are really good at building great automated solutions for their customers. And unless they really want to start becoming software developers too, we give them a solution that allows them to, do what they're good at, but still leverage this connectivity and leverage data to enable these value add services for their customers. With the IXON customer portal, it allows you to share insights, provide guidance, and really improve uptime of your customers. The platform itself is completely white labelable. So you can put your branding, logos, brand coloring. You can even customize the domain itself. So it could be, industry 4.0.companyabc.com or, whatever it is your marketing team comes up with for your domain. And then we also even offer the ability to completely white label the smartphone apps in the Google Play and Apple stores. So when they go to search for that app, they search for your company's portal name. And then within the customer portal, we have the IXON Data Studio. And the Data Studio is, again, a no-code drag and drop widget style workspace. It allows you to visualize live and historical data and easily create and deploy dashboards for various use cases such as downtime monitoring, wear and tear parts monitoring, production overviews, overall equipment efficiency or OEE, energy consumption, consumables usage, and really more. It's kind of like a big box of Legos, and you can start to build what your customers are in the need for, or what your company needs with the platform without a lot of programming or coding knowledge needed.
Yeah, and for the audio audience, I mean, we're seeing bar graphs, we're seeing pie charts, we're seeing like numeric displays that change in color. We're seeing, embedding pictures onto the screens. We're seeing menus on the side. So it looks like a really good dashboarding software. I think there's some trends back there we can just barely see. So yeah, it looks really good.
So just to touch on the different plans here a little bit, we talked about the standard plan. This is a premium remote access solution with secure access for you, your suppliers, and your customers. This includes everything that that you get when you buy the router. There's no additional fees for that plan at all. The advanced tier is adds a little bit more extensive management of your machines and subcontractors. It allows you to white label your remote access platform. It also gives you 10 gigabytes of file storage. So instead of taping the operator's manual or owner's manual to the inside of the control panel door, you can upload it to our platform. You can give your customers access. So right from the palm of their hand, they can pull up any of that documentation they need. It's a nice tier for advanced remote access. And then the professional and enterprise tiers, I have them circled because that's where we really start to get into the data studio, where you can start to do some visualizations of data. The professional tier, it allows you also to white label the domain name. It allows you to white label the platform itself with branding. And the biggest features of this tier, though, is it allows you to visualize live real-time data for things like a machine cockpit type view, I like to call it. And you can also set up alarming and notifications based on PLC tags. So If you have certain tags that you want to set a threshold for, maybe it's a temperature, and you know that if this motor or drive exceeds a certain temperature, that might mean that it's wearing out, its bearings are wearing out or something like that. You can set up that alarming and notifications so that your support team internally gets those or your customer gets those notifications. So it's really provides a lot of data insights and notifications for everyone to minimize downtime. That tier is $3,500 a year. And that, again, that's unlimited number of machines to be monitored that have an IX router on them, unlimited number of users that you want to give access to the platform. So it's a really great kind of baby step into IIoT as a machine builder. And then the enterprise tier is really where you can dive even deeper into that data analysis. This is where you can start to collect historical data and do those data visualizations and trending and graphs and charts and things like that. This tier is got a number of different modules that you can choose from depending on the needs of your business. So again, you've got that data studio to do those visualizations. You can choose to have that white labeled smartphone app as a module. There is an automated report generator functionality as well to automate internal or external reports to your customers. And then we've also got an app engine and API integrations that really allow you to create custom widgets and really customize the platform a bit more, and also integrate some of your external IT applications. Maybe you want to integrate a service ticketing software or your ERP or CRM into here. It's a very open and expandable platform. With that the enterprise tier, the way it works is we've got a couple of different packages here that allow you to start small and then scale up in 4 steps. So the proof of concept here allows you to monitor up to 10 machines with that historical data logging functionality. So again, going back to that start small, learn fast, rather than going out and building out your own complete IoT platform on something like AWS or Azure, you can leverage IXON's IoT portal, out of the box solution, start with a small number of customers and really prove out that this is a viable use case or business case for your business at this point. And then when you've reached that 10 machine mark, you can bump up to the next tier, which allows you to monitor up to 100 machines. And then the next tier is the growth tier, allows you to monitor up to 250. And then once you get to the mature tier, there's no limit on the number of machines that you can monitor, and the cost of the platform is capped at that point. So again, I mentioned open and expandable. Every machine builder has its unique requirements. We integrate with your existing IT applications and provide the ability to develop custom web applications. And this really ensures that you don't run into the limitations of a standard software product or the limitations of developing your own product or platform and having to reinvent the wheel every few years. IXON is we're the developer of the software. We are the ones who are developing new product features and functionality and offering those to you to offer to your customers. So what I'm showing now is the IXON Cloud Portal. This is a white labeled version demo environment. We have a logo up here for an imaginary company called ProPack Machinery. And we're looking at the portal page right now. This is basically the home screen when you log in. And what you're going to see is a number of cards that are each of the machines that you have an IX router on. On any of these machines, to connect through a VPN, all you have to do is click this connect button. You'll see a little connecting dialog box pop up here at the bottom. Once that's connected, you can see who is connected to the machine right on the card view here. And at this point, you would open up your programming software and do program updates, troubleshoot, whatever it is you need to do, just as if you were on site in the plant with an Ethernet connected to the PLC itself. I'm disconnecting now because to show the next feature, you don't actually have to be connected through VPN to remotely view the HMI. So this is done through a VNC portal or an HTTP server. We can click the HMI button, and right on my screen, I have a HMI pulled up. This is an interactive HMI, so I can click the buttons on the screen and go, view the different pages. I can adjust parameters here.
So to do that, though, you had to be logged in. So we're in a browser,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to be authenticated and logged into IXON into your account before you could actually manipulate that HMI. So
Yes.
just not anybody going to ixon.cloud is going to be able to do that. You have to already be authenticated. Even if you're not doing a full VPN connection,
Yes.
you're not going to be programming with your programming software. You still have to log in to get access to the HMI or anything else out there.
Yes, absolutely. You have to be logged in to the portal to be able to access anything in this portal here. Okay, so we just looked at the HMI. I'm going to click into one of these cards here and show you some of the device pages that can be created using that data studio. The first page here is our service page. From this service page, we can again establish that VPN connection, view the HMI, but we've also got an audit log here that's been created that again, it tells you who has been connected to this machine, what they connected to, and for how long. One thing to point out on these pages that I'm showing you, these are just pages we made for a demo environment. These are not by any means a limitation of what you can see here, what the software is capable of. These are just a couple of examples of pages you might be able to use. A support overview page. One of our widgets that we have here on this support overview page is called our service logbook. The service logbook is actually an IXON app. IXON has its own app store. You can access it through marketplace.ixon.cloud, and there are apps in there that you can install into your IXON portal. Service logbook is one of those, and what the service logbook is really just a logbook for any time a service tech connects to a machine and they want to log what they did while they were logged in. They can add a note very easily here, and it will log their name, the date and time, and then that note. I mentioned the documentation option as well, so you can add PDF documents to this support overview. Could be owner's manuals, operators manuals, drawings or schematics, anything that you'd like to give access to anyone who would be accessing this machine through the portal. And then we have our machine insights page as well, and we've got a number of different device pages under here. The cockpit view is the first one I want to show. Again, this cockpit view is kind of giving you a glimpse of the machine health or just real-time live streaming data. You'll notice as soon as I clicked into this page, this graph of various motor temperatures started populating, so we can see live temperatures. We can see some live OEE metrics, availability, performance, quality. We can see our live machine state and error states of this machine. So this is a really great view that highlights the functionality of that professional tier with live data, alarming notifications. A few other views here that leverage more of the historical data would be like a process analysis view. What we're looking at here is state occurrences, so states of the machine and the number of times that those states occurred, whether it was aborting, stopped, starting, executing, things like that. And then we've also got a pie graph on the right here showing the duration of those states. Downtime analysis, where this page we're monitoring the alarm occurrences and the duration of each of those various types of alarm occurrences. Condition monitoring is another page here. This wear and tear is another widget that can be found in the IXON App Store. And what this allows you to do is identify wear and tear components and set a cycle for when that component might be due for repair or replacement, and it'll give you an expected date based on the production or the volume that is running when that you expect to reach that limit, and you can set up a notification for when that limit is reached or slightly prior to that. And then the last page here is just kind of a production overview. This is just to highlight that we can do some more customer facing dashboards like a production overview. In this instance, we're showing like the number of boxes packed per shift or per day across the various shifts, and then also what our current actual shift is. All right. Now that I've kind of given you a tour through the platform, we've talked about remote access and the use cases for remote access, and really leveraging that machine connection to transition from a reactive service model to a more proactive aftermarket service model. Some of you might be interested in, okay, how do we test this out? Well, IXON actually offers a evaluation kit. The evaluation kit includes our IX router with Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and cellular connectivity. It's going to come with the router, a couple of antennas, a power supply, Ethernet cable, and the router is yours to keep. We sell the router for $450. It's normally probably about an $800 package that this is wrapped up in. And also with that eval kit, you get a 2-week trial of the Service Lifecycle Cloud, basically enabling all of that data visualization functionality, all of the various features that we've discussed under the enterprise tier of our platform, and allows you to kind of get your feet wet with it and see what IXON's capable of and what you can be capable of with this solution. And so with that said, Shawn, I really appreciate you having me on today. If anyone is interested in, having a conversation with us, getting an evaluation kit to try out, you can contact us at ixon.cloud/talk to us, or you can reach out to me directly at brandon.penrod@ixon.cloud. We'll have the link in the show notes as well.
And if you're driving, it's IXON, not Exxon, IXON, IXON. And I think that's the easiest way to remember the name of the company.
Yeah, and it's .cloud, not .com.
.cloud for a cloud company. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Brandon, I really appreciate you coming on. I love that the remote access, you provide all these features. And then for these OEMs, they can start building their own cloud system without having to have a web developer or their own AWS account. And, because a lot of those, they don't. I mean, they're lucky to have a PLC HMI guy on staff and trying to get that type of high. Now, there are some very, very large OEMs that have all that. But I think most of the ones I've visited do not. And so this definitely seems like a nice solution to help them support their customers and to help them keep an eye on their machines as well. So really appreciate you coming on. This was a really interesting presentation.
Absolutely, Shawn. I appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I want to thank Brandon for coming on the show and bringing us up to speed on IXON and their remote access products and their IoT gateway and solutions. With that said, if you did enjoy this episode, please give us a like, give us a share, give us a sub, and please check out the links in the description. This episode was brought to you ad-free by IXON, so we really appreciate them underwriting our costs so we can continue to try to bring you a new episode every week, ad-free, without those annoying, pesky ads. With that said, we do have a membership perk for those Level 2 members on YouTube and at theautomationblog.com. We will be doing our first after show shortly after this releases, and you'll catch that either, like I said, on YouTube as a Level 2 member or at theautomationblog.com. And that's just where I share my thoughts and reflections on the show. I have to having to listen to it a couple times to edit it and or to check the editor who edited it to make sure they didn't miss anything. And so if you're interested, please sign up. You can support us there. That is $25 a month or $6 a week. So with that, I want to wish you all an awesome day. No matter what happens, please, I want to encourage you to stay courageous and stay fearless. And until next time, my friends,
Peace.